Tonight, an ABC premiere presentation.
The dead pool is just a harmless game.
Dirty Harry is back.
Sounds pretty sick to me.
Chasing a killer with a celebrity hit list.
In case you don't realize it, Callahan, your name is on this list, too.
I want your story.
Do you like cops? Cool off your guns now, you hear me? Whoever's pulling off these murders is using you as inspiration.
Clint Eastwood is Dirty Harry.
Rest in peace.
In over his head. In the dead pool. Next.
Now you can get an NCAA mini basketball from Pizza Hut for $3.49 with any pizza purchase. But hurry, they're moving fast. The 1991 NCAA mini basketball for just $3.49 at Pizza Hut.
Making it great. V6 156 horsepower engine. Camry, the most trouble-free car in its class 3 years in a row.
I love what you do for me.
I'm happy.
Toyota.
I like wearing white, but not under my arm. This solid leaves a white, flaky mess. But now, there's new Arid Sports Scent. Solid protection that never turns white or messy. New Arid Sports Scent. Solid protection without the white mess.
We're about to prove a point. On the right, a pie wrapped in saran wrap. On the left, Reynolds and Glad. Knowing a bear won't eat what he can't smell, which one holds an odor and freshness better? Saran wrap. Nothing protects food better.
There's a level of service with which you're already quite familiar. Only now you can enjoy it at 35,000 feet. Delta's person-to-person service to over 270 cities worldwide. At Delta, we love to fly, and it shows.
Why do fools fall in love? Why do opposites attract? Why do gentlemen prefer blondes? Why do women have all the answers? Why? Ask. Why?
Dry.
Cold filtered for smooth draft taste. Dry brewed for no aftertaste. Because if true love's not the answer, true refreshment must be.
Never before has the world seemed so small. Never before has what goes on halfway around the world been so important to our everyday lives. Never before has 24-hour news been so vital. Channel 5 Eyewitness News brings you more than news on the hour. We bring a Minnesota perspective on this crisis with overnight news, news at midday, 5, 6, 10, and news on the hour. When you want news on the Mideast, whatever the time, turn to your 24-hour source for news. Channel 5 Eyewitness News.
Someone should talk to you about how much time you spend on the phone, and who you talk to, and when and where. A Sprint representative can easily help you select a savings plan for your personal calling needs. And Sprint has better overall savings than AT&T. So there's a plan that's perfect for you. Unless, of course, you're a teenager.
I can't believe it.
No one's invented the perfect plan for that.
To help fight the corrosive effects of salt and water, every Lexus features airbag terminals plated in gold. Of course, we might have used a less expensive material, but it wasn't money we were interested in saving.
These days, you need all the help you can get.
But where do you get it?
At Color Tile, where our prices are even lower than last year. Like DuPont Stainmaster Carpet, just $10.99.
You won't believe what I got for 49 cents.
Yes, we've lowered our price on no-wax vinyl tile. And on ceramics, too.
Free. I got more than half of my mini blinds for free.
We do it for you. Mini blinds, buy one, get two free. When the going gets tough, go to Color Tile's biggest sale of the year.
Hurry. Sale ends Sunday.
When it's heartburn, plus gas.
Get new Tom's Plus, calcium-rich antacid relief plus gas-busting simethicone.
No other antacid gives you that.
New Tom's Plus.
Gee, sounds awful, Bob.
It's no day at the beach, Steve. Sore throat, cough.
Try one of these.
Sugar-free Nice showers your throat with medicine for icy, cool relief.
Oh, cool. Feels better. Guess it's back to work for me.
Yeah. Put your throat on ice with...
From Eyewitness News, this is a Gulf War update.
Good evening, I'm Mark Sapelsa with news here at home about the war. If nothing else, Saddam Hussein's alleged order to withdraw from Kuwait is drawing reaction in the Twin Cities. There's a pro-American rally as well as a prayer service going on now. We're working to hear what they're saying. And ABC has reported Iraqi troops were heading north, perhaps retreating. Tonight at 10, our military expert will show us where it's happening and why. Please join us at 10.
The Dead Pool, starring Clint Eastwood, will continue in a moment.
Watch Good Morning America for continuing coverage of Operation Desert Storm.
All the latest details on the Gulf War, including full reports from ABC News. I'm Charles Gibson.
And I'm Joan London. Stay informed right here on Good Morning America.
From ABC News, this is a Gulf War update.
I'm Carol Simpson. Just moments from now, the UN Security Council is scheduled to meet behind closed doors on the Gulf War. The meeting comes after Baghdad Radio announced that Iraqi troops have been ordered to withdraw from Kuwait. That radio report prompted President Bush to convene a meeting of his top security advisors at the White House tonight. Meanwhile, the Gulf Island nation of Bahrain says its air defenses destroyed an incoming Scud missile tonight. Earlier, in the bloodiest Scud attack of the war, Scud debris destroyed a barracks building in Saudi Arabia. 12 American GIs died and 25 were injured. 40 are missing. Tonight on Nightline, the latest from the Gulf.
This is the 30-minute workout, the most advanced variable resistance training program ever invented. An hour-and-a-half workout in 30 minutes. And you can only find it at one place, U.S. Swim and Fitness.
For total fitness, join U.S. Swim and Fitness now for just $24 a month. Call 1-800-695-7777.
You want to know why I work out? Because it's good to me.
Yo, dudes, feast on fillet au surf.
Come try the ancient mariner.
Enjoy the Dipsy Deluxe.
Ever wonder about those other fish sandwiches? Come to Hardee's for the Fisherman's Filet, made with tender North Atlantic cod, lightly breaded, gently cooked, and served with lettuce and cheese on a toasted multigrain bun. And here's the hook. Right now, you can get the Fisherman's Filet and a small fries for just $1.99. Only Hardee's.
Could I fill you in on anything?
Sorry, I don't watch TV.
Not even cable?
Don't have it.
So you're missing CNN's Middle East coverage.
Yeah.
Current market quotes and analysis on FNN.
Oh, true.
The latest scores and sports action on ESPN.
Hey.
And the chance to get basic installation for $9.95 if you call now. Gee, I'm sorry you don't watch TV, too.
Actually, you may have a point.
Yeah, I got a point. Thanks for appreciating. About time you picked up on it.
Are Iraqi troops ready to pull out of Kuwait? Get the latest update on Eyewitness News.
You with the Dead Pool.
Fact. The full-size Ford pickup has more repeat buyers than any other pickup. Fact. The full-size Ford pickup sales lead over Chevy is wider than last year. Fact. Our most popular model is priced $600 less than a comparably equipped Chevy. Call it leadership, call it winning, call it anything you want. The simple fact is, Ford is #1. Save now during Leadership Month at your Ford dealer.
This person has taken a cold medicine with an antihistamine and is driving, despite label warnings that it could make him drowsy. But this person is getting cold symptom relief without drowsiness from Sudafed, the leading cold medicine that won't cause drowsiness. So you stay alert. Sudafed, fast relief, no drowsiness.
You've always trusted Woolite to care for your sweaters. Wouldn't you love to get that same Woolite care for your rugs and for your chairs? Well, try Woolite Deep Cleaning Rug Cleaner and Woolite Upholstery Cleaner. Trust Woolite Care for rugs and chairs.
Introducing Butterball, fresh from the deli cold cuts. Deli thin, deli fresh, deli delicious. Up to 98% fat-free and only 10 calories a slice. New, fresh from the deli, from Butterball.
If Delaney makes this putt, a 20-footer that should break to the right, he'll be up to 5.
More pepper taste. 3 diets.
It'll make you, shake you, take you to the moon. Brand new Dr. Pepper, really tastes great. It'll shock you, knock you to your knees. Once it stops, it never quits. There's no stopping the taste.
New Diet Dr. Pepper with 100% NutraSweet.
Next Monday,
Earth Angel, Earth Angel.
a dead prom queen has one last chance to earn her wings.
I'm really dead?
What did you do that? Can she bring love to the guy she left behind?
He used to be so sweet and gentle. I know it's still in him. I know it.
Earth Angel. She'll make your dreams come true next Monday.
For all the places and all the faces that are a part of you, AT&T brings you the Reach Out America plan. With more ways to save than anyone else. No matter who or when or where you call. So long distance feels like no distance. For savings and quality across every mile, we'll help you find the plan that works for you. AT&T, all you need to reach out.
At Acura, we've discovered that when we go the extra mile, so do the people who drive our cars. The 1991 Acura Integra.
Oh, boy.
When you're cooking your best, nothing tastes quite like butter. Nothing bastes quite like butter. Nothing bakes quite like butter.
Butter.
Butter! When you're cooking your best, nothing tastes quite like butter.
Drixoral is. Sudafed isn't. Drixoral is. Contac isn't. Drixoral is. Actifed isn't. Drixoral is. Of all the things you can buy for a cold, Drixoral is the only 12-hour medicine that was once a prescription and is still available in its original prescription strength. Dimetap isn't. Drixoral is. Tylenol Cold isn't. Drixoral is. Coadvil isn't. Drixoral is. Dristan isn't. Drixoral is.
Wednesday, a cop's designs on Julie.
I'm gonna give up police work and buy some spray paint.
Give him an appreciation of the arts.
Appreciate this. A raw expression of subculture, don't you agree?
In collision with the values of modern desire.
Values of modern desire.
It's a culture clash on equal justice. Wednesday. Tonight's movie, The Dead Pool, will continue in a moment.
Could Saddam be retreating? The world waits. Stay with ABC News, monitoring the war 24 hours a day, and watch Peter Jennings on ABC's World News Tonight, tomorrow.
Here's what's coming up tonight at 10 on Channel 5's Eyewitness News.
Here we go, Linda. Coming down.
Another scud kills and injures dozens while Baghdad radio calls for Iraqi troops to withdraw. I'm Angela Astor. We'll bring you the very latest update on the developments.
Also, from this prayer service to an Iraqi citizen's home to a pro-troops rally, we'll have tonight's reaction to the war developments.
And tips for getting more for your money at the gas pump. Join Mark Sapelsa and me at 10 for Eyewitness News.
You got the right one, baby.
You got the right one, baby.
You got the right one, baby.
There's only one right one, baby. You got the right one, baby. Yeah.
With 100% NutraSweet.
More than just news on the hour. Turn to your 24-hour source for news of the Mideast, Channel 5.
For continuous coverage of the ground war, turn to Channel 5, Eyewitness News.
We continue with the Dead Pool.
This is an ABC News special report on the Gulf War. Reporting from New York, Peter Jennings.
Good evening. If you've been watching the news carefully this evening, you'll know that the President and his senior advisors on the war have been meeting at the White House. This began a little earlier when Baghdad Radio announced in the name of Saddam Hussein that the Iraqi troops in Kuwait were ordered to withdraw in compliance with UN Resolution 660, the first of the 12 after the Iraqis invaded Kuwait. Then there was some movement again by the Soviets, which has been going on all day, to try to get a UN Security Council meeting going to talk about some new proposal to end the war politically. And in the wake of that, but particularly the Baghdad Radio announcement, the President called in his senior advisors. They met for a little more than an hour at the White House this evening. They have now gone home, or at least back to their offices. The President has retired to his private quarters, and the President's press secretary, Marlin Fitzwater, is on his way down to the White House briefing room to make some kind of an announcement. It may be a response to the Baghdad Radio announcement. It may be simply that they've been studying it. We do not know. But just to point out that this is where the evening began, with this announcement on Baghdad Radio saying that Iraqi forces were expected to withdraw in compliance with UN Resolution 660. There's also been some sightings on the field of battle of Iraqi troops, some with or without their equipment, we're not sure, actually heading north. The Pentagon says these are sporadic incidents. Nobody knows quite what everything means. Here's Mr. Fitzwater.
We continue to prosecute the war. We have heard no reason to change that. And because there is a war on, our first concern must be the safety and security of the United States and coalition forces. We don't know whether this most recent claim about Iraqi withdrawal is genuine. We have no evidence to suggest the Iraqi army is withdrawing. In fact, Iraqi units are continuing to fight. Moreover, we remember when Saddam Hussein's tanks pretended to surrender at Kafshi, only to turn and fire. We remember the Scud attacks today and Saddam's many broken promises of the past. There are at least an additional 22 dead Americans tonight who offer silent testimony to the intentions of Saddam Hussein. The statement out of Baghdad today says that Saddam Hussein's forces will fight their way out while retreating. We will not attack unarmed soldiers in retreat, but we will consider retreating combat units as a movement of war. The only way Saddam Hussein can persuade the coalition of the seriousness of his intentions would be for him personally and publicly to agree to the terms of the proposal we issued on February 22. And because the announcement from Baghdad referred to the Soviet initiative, he must personally and publicly accept explicitly all relevant UN Security Council resolutions, including especially UN Security Council Resolution 662, which calls for Iraqi rescission of its purported annexation of Kuwait, and UN Security Council Resolution 674, which calls for Iraqi compensation to Kuwait and others. That's the end of the statement. I might just add that the President met with his national security advisors for approximately an hour and 15 minutes this evening to consider this matter, and the President has returned to his residence. Wyatt?
Marlon, any word from Mikhail Gorbachev? Has he called the President and personally asked for a ceasefire?
We've not had any contact with President Gorbachev, although we have had contact with Soviet officials here in their embassy.
The nature of which
Helen?
is what, please? Marlon, the nature of which is what?
To simply inform them of our statement and to discuss the situation as it exists. Helen?
Do you consider the 12 UN resolutions and your February 22 plan as two separate entities that both have to be accepted?
As we explained on Friday, the terms of the February 22 plan, that's the one we disclosed on Friday, was a way of setting criteria for judging the 12 UN resolutions. So it is our judgment that he must still comply with the 12 UN resolutions, and the terms that set forth Friday simply give those detail.
Those approved by the UN, the criteria, the terms of this whole...
They are the coalition's terms for describing and explaining the UN Security Council resolutions. Brett?
And you have now added the condition that Saddam must do this personally. Why have you added that?
We have added this because of the nature of the Baghdad radio statement today, because of the many broken promises of Saddam Hussein, because he has not responded today concerning this withdrawal either directly to us or to the United Nations, and yet he tries or he purports to be interested in a withdrawal. And our attitude is, if that is the case, we ask him to be upfront publicly and let the whole world know exactly what his intentions are. Pascal?
What do you think Saddam Hussein is trying to do by announcing such a withdrawal?
We have no way of judging his motives. Michael?
As we understand it, the UN Security Council is meeting now or will be meeting shortly, and you're out here rejecting this Baghdad radio offer. What do you know about what they're going to be doing in that meeting that leads you to believe you can come out now and reject it?
We aren't rejecting anything. We don't know that there is a genuine offer. We see no evidence of it on the ground. We have no reason to believe the radio report. What we are saying is we hope it's true. We want him to get out, and this is the way to do it. John?
Marlon, if the Iraq's UN ambassador accepts the resolution calling for withdrawal from Kuwait and announces an Iraqi withdrawal from Kuwait, will the U.S. continue to attack?
The ground rules are very clear here. We are not going to attack retreating forces. They should lay down their arms and leave, and they wouldn't have to worry about that. But if they're moving as a combat units, they are still subject to the rules of war. Karen?
Yes. Can you tell us whether there's been any sign of Iraqi troops withdrawing, either with their weapons or without them?
We have no indication that there's any withdrawal taking place. John?
Two things about this withdrawal. It sounds like, one, what you're concerned about is these people are possibly taking their weapons back into Iraq and being a threat from Iraq. And two, how will these people retreat without their weapons? Some of these people will be in tanks. That's how they travel.
They laying down their arms is simply they simply walk out. The fact is, the United States has enormous numbers of troops in that area. The coalition forces are spread throughout the country and throughout Kuwait, and we cannot sacrifice the safety of coalition forces by allowing them to have their weapons and, in effect, fight their way out, whatever that means.
Does that only mean walk? Are you talking about armored personnel carriers?
Well, I don't think it needs that definition. I think lay down your arms is pretty clear. Patrick?
How close are we to winning this war so that any UN action might be considered moot?
Well, we are making good progress, but we certainly could not predict an end of the war at this time. Final question, Tom.
Fashion stalling the UN action, no, Marlon, trying to see if we can win a decisive victory.
No, the UN, as I understand it, has scheduled an informal meeting for later tonight. We simply want them to know our feelings and a position on this matter as they deliberate this evening.
Well,
Tom?
What do you make of this new Soviet proposal? Did you know it was coming, and is it helpful to the coalition's aims for this to come up at this time?
I'm not aware of a new Soviet proposal.
Well, the Soviets asked the Security Council tonight to look at the proposal.
Well, you mean they proposed a meeting? That's fine, sure.
Do you feel it's helpful at this point for the Soviet Union to continue to press this proposal of theirs?
We think the Soviet Union has been helpful in this process. They have been trying to get a withdrawal. They've been trying to get Saddam Hussein to get out of Kuwait according to the UN resolutions. And in every discussion that President Gorbachev has had with us, he has reasserted his commitment to the UN resolutions. And certainly having the UN review this in any fashion is acceptable with us. That, after all, we are responding to UN resolutions. And tonight's statement would be our position going into those discussions. And this way everyone would know exactly how we feel. Dan, final question.
Marlon, Is it now the position of the Allies that you all will settle for nothing less than the total humiliation of Saddam Hussein?
No, we'll settle for nothing less than full compliance with the UN resolutions. Thank you very much.
President's Press Secretary Marlin Fitzwater at the White House briefing room. You've heard it as well as we have. The last question may be a crucial one, whether or not President Bush, the Bush administration, wants the personal and public humiliation of Saddam Hussein. The bottom line here, after all that talk about UN resolutions and proposals today and not, is that they're not going to let Saddam Hussein off the hook at the moment. They're not going to facilitate the Soviets trying to bring forward another peace proposal if the Iraqi forces in Kuwait want to leave. In Mr. Fitzwater's words, they can lay down their arms and walk out. That's a key point, of course, because there's been enormous concern in the Bush administration, not to mention among many members of the public who've watched the war so closely, that Saddam Hussein, if he is able to retreat, not be able to retreat with a lot of his expensive equipment. A couple of things here to try to clarify as we go along. First, to the Pentagon, to ABC's Bob Zelnick. Bob, Mr. Fitzwater says they see no evidence today to suggest an Iraqi withdrawal. And yet there are pretty good sources out of the Pentagon today to say that some Iraqis have been going north towards home.
That's correct. There was sporadic movement throughout the day of isolated Iraqi units. As intelligence watched it, they couldn't decide what they were up to. It wasn't until the Baghdad radio broadcast that it appeared that some of the units may have been responding to instructions from Baghdad, but that was certainly nothing that was proved by any coherent movement of Iraqi forces.
Okay, Bob, thanks very much. Now to the White House, where Britt Hume, our White House correspondent, is available. Britt, they say they don't want to humiliate Saddam Hussein, but Mr. Fitzwater says he must announce personally that he intends to get out of Kuwait. What do you think of that?
Well, they can say they don't want to humiliate him, Peter, but they do want to humiliate him. I don't think there's much question about that. They also say here that they appreciate the efforts of the Soviets. I know for a fact, Peter, that very senior officials here at the White House do not appreciate the Soviet efforts, but there is such concern that the Soviets are a vital part of any diplomatic activity after this war that they need to slide by this episode without alienating the Soviets. So at times, they've been pretty straightforward with us throughout this. The president has basically said what he meant and done what he said he would do. But in those two instances, they're not exactly telling us exactly what they feel. Okay, there's a little bad blood, as we know, between the Soviets and the U.S. Pravda, the Communist Party newspaper, said only today that the U.S. Preferred amputation to therapy in terms of bringing the war to an end. Some of the language going back and forth, at least coming, has been fairly crude. Finally, I want to go to Saudi Arabia. You heard Mr. Fitzwater say the war is going to continue to be prosecuted. The most deadly Iraqi Scud attack was today on Tehran in eastern Saudi Arabia. With the details again, Sam Donaldson. Sam.
Well, that's right, Peter. About 8:30, a little after 8:30 this evening in Saudi Arabia, it's now morning as you can see, a Scud came in and began to break up in the air. A main piece of the Scud fell to earth and contained the warhead. And just by one of those tragic chances of war, hit a barracks in which U.S. service personnel were housed. It flies through the sky, it comes down, it crashes, and it immediately sets this barracks into flame. Instant inferno. At least 12 American service personnel are dead, perhaps 40 missing, many, many wounded, 50 taken by buses, by ambulances, by medevac helicopters to nearby hospitals. It's a real scene of chaos and tragedy there. And, you know, these Scuds are not specific weapons. They can't reach a target that they're aimed at. They just fly along, and this particular one apparently began to break up. That is why it is said by the command, the Patriot missiles, which have been so successful in knocking Scuds out of the sky, were not fired because it was breaking up by itself, and the warhead happened to hit the service personnel.
Okay, Sam, just one other thing about that attack. We're told tonight from Saudi Arabia in a dispatch from Pennsylvania newspaper that were where the Army Reserve 475th Quartermaster Group, based in Farrell, Pennsylvania, was actually there. They were men who were in a water supply unit. And as Sam says, it is the worst attack so far. More Americans killed in that one attack than have been killed in the 2 days and several hours of the ground war. Just before we leave, Sam, your thoughts about what Mr. Fitzwater had to say.
Well, as far as the Fitzwater statement is perfectly clear, they do in fact want to humiliate Saddam Hussein, but more important than that, the military command here doesn't want to stop. They don't want to take casualties. They're perfectly delighted to have the Iraqis surrender, but they don't want those Iraqis to get out with their equipment. They want them to leave every tank, every artillery piece, every piece of equipment behind in Kuwait. And as far as the Republican Guards that are concerned, sitting there still, some of them on the border, they want to smash them too. So the command doesn't want to cease fire right now.
Okay, Sam, thanks very much. And also to Brit Humans. Well, David Ensor, who's over at the United Nations, tells us that at UN Security Council meeting, which is presumably going to go ahead this evening, that the Iraqi ambassador to the UN, who went off to Moscow several days ago, is going to be in attendance. So there is always the chance that the political situation will change again tomorrow morning. But as of now, the Bush administration says they are not happy with what they have heard on Baghdad radio this evening. As Mr. Fitzwater says, we, the Bush administration, the U.S. military, continue to prosecute the war. There'll be a chance for Ted Koppel and his guests to take this apart even further on Nightline. Hope you'll join them then. I'm Peter Jennings in New York. Good night.
This has been an ABC News special report on the Gulf War. We now return to the Monday night movie, The Dead Pool, which will be seen in its entirety.
If you enjoy a quiet afternoon get-together, if you're concerned about not just what goes on your body, but what goes in it, because when you're in a place that's really happening, anything can happen. So call for the silver bullet, the one that won't slow you down.
Here's Grandpa introducing our new big bag of microwave popcorn.
For when you're with friends.
And I have our singles bag, for when you're not. And now we're going to trade.
Not a chance, Gary, not a chance.
Big bag or single. New from Orville Redenbacher.
Fact. Ford outsells Chevrolet and every other American competitor. Fact. Across the country, Ford outsells Honda, Nissan, and Toyota combined. Fact. Every year for the past 4 years, Ford has had the best-selling cars and trucks in America. Call it leadership. Call it winning. Call it anything you want. The simple fact is, Ford is #1. Save during Leadership Month at your Ford dealer now. Introducing Wendy's Chicken Cordon Bleu, a boneless breast of chicken, ham, Swiss cheese, Grey Poupon, and mayonnaise on a toasted Kaiser bun.
That looks delicious.
Try the new Chicken Cordon Bleu sandwich at Wendy's for a limited time.
That means you have to hurry.
Ziploc presents Fingerman.
Hi, I'm here to demonstrate a big new idea. That's right, introducing the new Gripper Zipper from Ziploc. Now the easiest closing bag there is. In fact, I can even close it, whoa, blindfolded. I know it's closing because I can feel the zipper grabbing hold. It's locking. Feel it close the first time, every time. And you don't have to see it to believe it. Ooh. Ziploc bags with the new Gripper Zipper. The easiest closing bag there is.
Plus case history. From the ashes of the 1967 Detroit riots rose Focus Hope, fighting racism and poverty through job training.
Almost immediately we found out that a fairly well-trained...
Coming up on Eyewitness News, another Scud kills and injures dozens while Baghdad radio calls for Iraqi troops to withdraw. We'll bring you the latest.
Also, from this prayer service to an Iraqi citizen's home to a pro-troops rally, we'll have tonight's reaction to the war developments.
Plus tips to get more for your money at the gas pump. Join Angela Storr and me next for Eyewitness News.
When you want news on the Mideast, whatever the time, turn to your 24-hour source for news. Turn to Channel 5 Eyewitness News.
An inner-city engineering school.
Anything that anyone asks us to do, from aerospace all the way down to fixing a pulley on a truck, we will be able to do it.
Call this number to find out about job skills training or to start a program in your area.
Tuesday, Roseanne and Dan are Vegas bound.
The best odds in Las Vegas in our favor is the buffet table.
Roseanne, then Hayden's left out in the cold.
Remember to tell your father that I'm the one that did that.
Coach, Tuesday.
Tonight on Nightline, another day of major battlefield losses for the Iraqis. A Scud missile hits a U.S. barracks, causing at least 12 U.S. dead. And there's a report that Saddam has ordered a retreat. We'll have the latest from the Gulf tonight.
taught you something every man should know. How to eat an Oreo cookie. Here's yours. Twist it off. Oh, you did it. Just give it a lick. It's hard to hide the truth. Now let's dunk it, just like a professional basketball player. Now you just learn to tie your shoelaces and you'll be all set.
My daughter Wendy said to me, Dad, I think you've got to come up with some new kind of foods. Be different. Get on the cutting edge. She may be right. So I had an idea for a special chicken sandwich.
Introducing Wendy's Chicken Cordon Bleu. A boneless breast of chicken, ham, Swiss cheese, Grey Poupon, and mayonnaise on a toasted Kaiser bun.
That looks delicious.
Dad, where are you?
In the kitchen. On the cutting edge.
Try the new Chicken Cordon Bleu sandwich at Wendy's for a limited time.
If this is a cold, this is the flu. Cold. Flu. Cold. Flu. If what you've got is more than a simple cold, now there's Metaflu, with the maximum dosage of 4 strong medicines to give you flu-strength relief for even your worst symptoms. New Metaflu from Park Davis. For more than a cold. For the flu. Metaflu.
Why do women always know when you're not telling them the whole story? And why do they always change plans at the last minute? And why do we keep putting up with them?
Why ask why? Try Bud Dry. It's cold filtered for smooth draft taste and dry brewed for no aftertaste. So while women may remain a mystery, refreshment won't.
Colon cancer is very serious, but when detected and treated early, as it was for me.
Coming up on Eyewitness News, another Scud kills and injures dozens while Baghdad radio calls for Iraqi troops to withdraw. We'll bring you the latest.
Also, from this prayer service to an Iraqi citizen's home to a pro-troops rally, we'll have tonight's reaction to the war developments.
Plus tips to get more for your money at the gas pump. Join Angela Storr and me next for Eyewitness News.
When you want news on the Mideast, whatever the time, turn to your 24-hour source for news. Turn to Channel 5 Eyewitness News.